Gaza's Civil Defense Agency says 2 people have been killed and several injured after the territory's only Catholic church was damaged by an Israeli airstrike. Reports indicate that the church's priest was among those injured, and officials with the Catholic Church say the Holy Family Church in Gaza City sustained damage. The church was sheltering displaced Christians and Muslims, including a number of children with disabilities. Witnesses suggest the building may have been struck by an Israeli tank. Now, in a statement, the Israeli military said it, quote, never targets religious sites. All right, ceasefire talks aimed at ending the war between Israel and Hamas have so far not materialized into a deal, but there are reports that there has been some progress. With me now is our Middle East analyst, Shani Rosanis. Shani, it's good to see you here in the studio. Hi. So what day is it? It's the 650th day of the war in Gaza. What's new?
Well, hopefully there's a breakthrough. We're hearing many sources all leading us to the same conclusion. We hear sources in Israel referring to the high-level officials in the Prime Minister's office. We hear also from sources close to Hamas. And we also heard President Trump himself overnight saying he thinks that there's good news coming from Gaza, basically aiming at some sort of a breakthrough. The main contention point, it seemed to have been in the last days, was the withdrawal maps. Where would Israeli military stand during those 60 days of truce? Israel had submitted just recently new maps, and it seems that Hamas has agreed to them. And if this was the only and last major roadblock in these talks, we might be hearing about, an official breakthrough or a deal that has been sealed very soon. We have been in this point again. You need to remember these talks are held under very, high confidentiality. There's a lot of things happening back and forth. A lot of the messages that are being sent also, especially when it comes to the American, they like to induce a lot, somewhat optimism and wishful thinking into their policy making. So we need to take everything with sort of a grain of salt. Okay. But this is where we are standing now.
Let's zoom in now on that reported withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Morag corridor.
Correct, the new maps, basically, that are supposedly what Israel agreed to. And let's look at the map for a minute, and we understand why it's so meaningful. Hamas, wants to retain as much control as it can over the Gaza Strip, and Israel, on the contrary, mostly wants to insist on the perimeter, on the area that we see now here in red, which is basically the border between Israel and the Gaza Strip. And here, if we're zooming into the southern part of the Gaza Strip, what we're seeing is the light blue. This is the Philadelphia corridor. That's the border with Egypt. The dark blue, this is where Israel was supposed to be building its humanitarian city, as the defense minister has called it, though there's a lot of, criticism of the use of that term and the whole idea, actually. And if Israel is letting go of holding on to that corridor that basically closes this dark blue part and separates Palestinians between Rafah and Khan Yunis, then if Israel lets go of that idea and of building this city, which is something that Hamas very much wanted, then Israel is sort of like taking for it, the way it sees it, a very step back, a very major compromise when, trying to appease Hamas. Here we need to remember that idea of building that city is very controversial, not just around the world, but also among Israeli officials themselves. Many people in the IDF who have criticized that, how impractical, immoral is it, also how it's not helping Israel fulfilling its goal for the long term in Gaza. If Israel had actually agreed to withdraw, it's probably only because it's temporary. And what Netanyahu will try to sell to his coalition partner is that this is just temporary. We will be going back. We will be fighting and defeating Hamas nonetheless. And we have to see where this stands now with the politics in Israel when coalition is very fragile for Netanyahu, when he will do whatever it takes to appease the few partners he still have left.
Shani, as always, we appreciate you having in the studio.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.